Guys, I apologize. I really do apologize for the delay, because that was the worst luck I've ever had in a long time for a live event. Literally 2 minutes before this thing started, the power decided to go out. So yeah, just some serious bad luck. So let me just get loaded up right here. I'm gonna take off this awesome jacket. Welcome to the stream. And today's gonna be a little bit different because we don't have Ash here. So I'm gonna be controlling everything while this is going on. So this might be a little bit slower than usual. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you everybody for being in the comments. I appreciate you for waiting. I mean, it's been like, what, 15 minutes since I got things going? But today's a special day. Today is a very special day because right here in front of us, I have the Acer Predator Helios 500. This thing is a gaming beast, and I'm about to unbox it for you guys. But first and foremost, I want to know, are my Discord admins in the comments right now? If you are, let me see that in the chat. I want to see your names pop up. Okay. There we go. Hey, Matt, I've been waiting for this thing too. Okay, happy birthday, Chatter. It's your birthday today. If you guys haven't joined my Discord server, I've been answering all of your questions for those people who have. My admins will be linking the Discord server info in the chat. If you can't find it there, you'll also find it in the description as well. Now, I'm going to be trying to look at the comments at the same time as I go on, but like I said, I don't have Ash here, so he's not going to be reading the comments at the same time while I unbox it. But anyways, we've wasted enough time. Let's start unboxing this awesome product. So first and foremost, let's just talk specs. We have here the Acer Predator Helios 500. This is a 17.3-inch gaming laptop. This bad boy comes with a GTX 1070. So you're easily playing probably QHD quality games at high settings, but since this only has a 1080p display, you're pretty much going to be playing every single game on high to ultra settings, which is absolutely awesome. Now, the Helios 500 is supposed to, I think, replace the original Predator 15X and 17X from last year. So it's kind of like their new, I wouldn't say new design, but new look. So instead of that like typical red and black that you're used to seeing on most gaming laptops, you're gonna get a new look. So inside of this box, let's take a look. Boom! There it is. That beautiful Predator logo just staring at me in this nice cloth around it. It's definitely heavy, as expected, because they had to increase the size of the chassis in order to cool this properly. As you know, there's a lot of controversy going around laptops overheating, and that's mainly due to manufacturers trying to squeeze a lot of power in a very thin form factor. The beauty about these bigger gaming devices is the fact that there's a lot more room to stick cooling, which means you can put more powerful GPUs inside of there and CPUs inside of there and have better performance without it overheating. That is beautiful. So very similar look to the Acer Predator Helios 300. Actually, I have it right here. So as you can see, we have the Predator Helios 300 here. This is kind of, mind the fingerprints. This does get a lot of fingerprints. So as you can see, it's slightly different in terms of looks. I think it looks a little bit more sleek. The Predator Helios 300 kind of has that older look. I hope they change the style of the 300 line because I think it needs to be updated. So as you can see, you have those grills on the back. These ones kind of stick out more, giving it a pretty badass look. I kind of dig this look. I know it's kind of similar to the Helios 300 in terms of looks, but it's just a lot more sleeker. Like it's not as, I don't know, it doesn't have that like typical gamer look. It still looks like a gaming laptop. It still looks like it's gonna kill you, but this just looks like it's gonna kill you and you're not gonna be happy about this one killing you instead of that one. I know that doesn't make any sense, but anyways, that's that. Okay. Now, before I continue, I'm going to answer some of your questions. First and foremost, how is the stream looking? Is everything okay in terms of quality? Sound is good? Quality's good? Okay, everything's good so far. Great. Let's get the Helios 300 off here for a second. Open this bad boy up. Oh, man. Okay. Whew, this thing is big. All right, so as you can see here, this is the Core i7. The ones that have been reviewed so far are usually the Core i9. And, you know, those are the more powerful ones. Like, you buy the Core i9 because you're going to do a lot more than just gaming. You're going to be like streaming. You're going to be doing content creation, for example. That's when you want to move to the Core i9. The Core i9 has 6 cores, just like the i7 version. But if you're just like strictly gaming and doing a little bit of streaming, you can get away with the Core i7. Like, if you were to buy the Core i9 version, you'd have to spend an extra $500. This one retails or starts at $2,000. And if you want to make the jump to the Core i9, you're going to get that faster CPU, plus you're going to get a little bit of more storage space for an extra $500. I think for most people, the i7 is where you want to be, unless you're doing like hardcore content creation or you're streaming on Twitch all day. Then you're going to probably want to bump up to the Core i9. All right, so this is, I'm going to try to like give you guys a look here. So as you can see, it's a very, very thick laptop. So you have vents on the top here, or this could be the speakers. You have separate function keys on the top row right here. And just like the Predator Helios 300, you have the color WASD keys, except this time is in blue. I personally like the blue. I think it looks better. Your arrow keys, you have a full-size keyboard. So if you have to crunch some numbers, let's say you need to calculate, I don't know, how many papers you sold that week. You have that ability to use it in Excel or whatever. Power it up. Got the blue backlighting. Obviously, I think this is going to be RGB. So we're going to have the ability to change the background of the keyboard. What's up, Radush? Welcome to the chat. I just totally butchered your name. I apologize. Yes, join the Discord if you haven't already. That's where I answer all of your questions. Also, on another note, we're going to do a lot of tests today. We're going to do display tests. I'm going to open this up live right in front of you guys so you can see exactly what's inside of here. Okay, I'm going to show you its body. I'm going to make it naked. And then on top of that, we're going to do hopefully some gaming tests if there's time. Usually there's not. And if we can, we're going to start pushing the CPU to see how much heat this thing produces. But based on what's going on so far, this handles heat pretty well, at least from what I've read. So far the display looks good, just based on visual inspection. Not too much color shifting unless you actually, you know, screen flex with the monitor. You can see for yourself. This doesn't go all the way down, but as you can see, there's a little bit of screen flex, and when you do it, there's shifting. Absolutely normal. The HP Omen does this. The Lenovo Y530 does this. It's normal to see that happen. So I wouldn't freak out if you start doing this to your monitor and it starts shifting color a little bit. Very little keyboard flex. So this keyboard itself has a very similar feel to the Predator Helios 300. Actually, the Predator Helios 300 feels like their keys are more rubberized than the keys on the 500. I mean, the travel distance feels about the same. I actually like the keys on the 500 better. They're a little bit more springy, but the 300 has more of that like rubber feel to it, if that's your thing. Okay, so what do we have here for questions? How's the screen? We're going to get to that shortly. I'm going to do a screen test. East is up really good, I guess. Okay, 1 second. I forgot to get my hard drive, which has all the software on it. I'll be back in like 1 second. All right, so I got the hard drive. We're going to install some software on this, and we're going to do a few tests. So let's plug this guy in here. Actually, you know what? Before we do the tests, let's just quickly go over all the ports first, okay? So on the back, we are rocking a full-size display port. We have your HDMI port, and we have your barrel power connector. On the left-hand side, you have another heat grill, your full-size RJ45 Ethernet jack, USB 3.0, and two, not one, but not, yeah, not one, but two Thunderbolt 3 ports. So 4 PCIe lanes, you got 2 of them on the side. They're shared, but you'll have lots of power if you want to connect something like a docking station with a bunch of peripherals. You'll have that bandwidth. 2 more USB 3.0 ports, and of course, your mic and headphone jack. So that's pretty much it for ports. You have basically all the I/O that you would need to get yourself going, and of course, hooking up to a docking station. All right, so let's plug this guy. So Abdallah asks, how much is it? This model, the i7 with the GTX 1070, is approximately $2,000 US for the i7 version. And then the next step up is the i9, which retails for $2,500 US. We're going to test the screen very soon. How does does it have a fingerprint sensor? No, it does not have a fingerprint sensor. You're very welcome, Sam. I'm glad you're enjoying them. Also, just to announce to you guys, so every Friday, every Friday for the past 4 weeks, we've been doing a live stream on a different laptop. Sometimes it's going to be phones. Just right now, it's like laptop season. Laptop season. So there's a lot of laptops coming out onto the market. It's back to school. So for my smartphone fans, like, just be patient. There will be smartphones again. There's just not much going on in the smartphone world right now. But what I am starting every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch, starting this weekend, I'm going to be doing a live gaming stream on one of these laptops. So what I'll do, so this weekend it's going to be the Predator Helios 500. I'm basically going to live stream from it. So I'll have the games installed on here. I'll have my other computer handling the live stream so that no frames will be dropped while I'm gaming on this device. And what I'll do is I'll basically answer all of your questions if you're in the live stream, and I'll play different games while you're there to give you an idea of how well it performs in some of the games that you play on a regular basis. I think it's a good way to judge if the games that you're serious about, or at least know how they'll run on this laptop. So 9 p.m. Eastern time every Sunday on Twitch. If you want my Twitch info, it's in the description down below. Okay, I'm just gonna plug this in. 1 second. All right, we got it plugged in. Plugged in, ready to go. Hard drive and get plugged in too, right here. AMD or Intel version for video editing? I still go with Intel just because you can use hardware acceleration in the background if you're using Adobe Premiere. AMD's fine, especially if you can get like a high core count for a really low price. Like I use a 1700X for video editing here in the studio, but at home I'll use like an Intel machine with an old 7700K, but I have that hardware support where it can kind of render things a little bit quicker. Okay, so I got the hard drive installed. Guys, I apologize if I'm not answering your questions as fast as I usually do. Usually I have Acer who's manning the other microphone, and he's asking or he's repeating your questions while I set things up. So I'll try to pause every once in a while and get to your questions. But like I said, if I don't get to your questions right now, hop on the Discord server. Like, I am there all the time, and my admins who are on there as well pretty much know exactly what I like and what I suggest can help you out as well. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to install the display calibration tool. And we're gonna do a display calibration so I can tell you exactly what this monitor looks like in terms of color reproduction. So just to give you guys, or for the people who are just joining right now, this is the Acer Predator Helios 500. This is the i7 8750H version, six cores, which is fantastic. GTX 1070, 16 gigabytes of RAM. You have a 256 gigabyte SSD, and of course a 1 terabyte hard drive. Retails for $2,000 US or 9 million Canadian and both of your kidneys. All right, just installing this. What's your Discord server? ITS VT12 ask what my Discord server is. It's in the description down below, and of course one of my admins will be kind enough to post it in the chat for you. Okay, so Chicken asks, how's the battery life? Well, Chicken, I can't tell you. I just literally unboxed it, but it's a gaming laptop, so most likely it's going to be terrible, just like every single other gaming laptop. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate NC. So he's posting that in the thing. Give me some tips to start my channel. So this is not appropriate for this session, but if you want to hop on the Discord server, I can talk to you about on how to start your channel and get going in terms of tech. All right, so I'm installing the display calibration tool right now. We're almost done. I should hook this up to the display so you guys can see what's going on here, but basically, just installing the actual software. Okay. We're going to use to calibrate this tool. Next. Yeah, man, today's been unlucky. Literally 2 minutes before the stream started, the power decided to go off. Thankfully, I have a backup generator outside because I got to keep the stream going. And powered on. I had to wait another 10 minutes for everything to boot up. But after that, we were good. Okay, I'm just going to connect to the Wi-Fi here. Give me 1 second. I don't want you guys to see my password, you little perverts. Okay. What is the read speed of this SSD and compared to the Helios 300, please? Sure. I will do a hard drive speed test. As soon as I'm done this display test, we can load up Crystal Mark and I can tell you exactly what the speeds are for these hard drives. The 7200 RPM hard drive or 5400 RPM hard drive, I'm not sure if it's 7200 or 5400, that's probably going to be around 130 megabytes a second. If it's a regular SSD, probably around 500. If it's an M2 NVMe SSD, it's going to be a lot faster, and we'll find out once we actually do a proper hard drive or storage drive speed test. Okay, loading up Spider 5 Pro right now so we can do this display test. Surface Book 2 or MacBook Pro 2018, Shifan Harani asks. It depends what you're doing. I personally use a Surface Book 2 only because my workflow requires Windows. Like I have no reason to buy a Mac for my workflow. But if you're using, if you're doing very light video editing, a MacBook's fine. It just depends what you're doing. Like it's hard to say. Like tell me more about what you do, and I can give you a better answer. Where can I buy the laptop? I'm in Europe. Honestly, I'm not sure. If any of the Acer reps are watching this video, feel free to post it in the chat or email me, and then I can, again, let you know in the comments or post it on my Discord server. But I'm sure there's tons of places where you can buy it in Europe once it comes out there. Like I checked Amazon. I didn't see any Predator Helios 500s on Amazon Europe, but I did see it in Canada and the United States. So it just might not be out in Europe yet. Okay, let's plug this in. The HDD is 5400. So yeah, John Inge already confirmed it. The hard drive is 5400. I don't know why laptop manufacturers just don't put 7200 RPM hard drives in there. I mean, like, it's not that much more expensive. The Omen 15, for example, is using a 7200 RPM hard drive, which is interesting. I mean, to be honest, the speed difference are not that significant. And at the end of the day, that HD that you're using as your second drive is just basically to store games and documents anyways. So it's not that big of a deal, but I don't know, just to save a few bucks, I guess, especially when you're mass producing tons of these laptops, it adds up, that savings. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do the little display test here. Acer, where are you? There you are. Next. Looks really nice. I have the Helios 300 and runs very well. I use it mainly for the HTC Vive. Is the screen 144 hertz? So I can't believe I'm saying chicken. Chicken asks the screen is 144 hertz. Yes, it is. This is a 144 hertz panel. And if you haven't gamed on a display that is 100 hertz and over, then you're missing out on life. You just haven't lived. You should put it on your bucket list because once you go over 100 hertz, you're never going to want to go back to anything lower than that for gaming. Like it's just night and day, especially if you're a hardcore gamer. Like you're not going to be able to game on 60 hertz after that. All right, we're starting the test. Okay. All right, while this goes, I'm going to answer some questions. This or the MSI Stealth Thin? I haven't reviewed the MSI Stealth Thin, so I don't know. I don't know if that one's based off the Clevo design. If it is, then there's some QC issues, but I'll have to review that first. Will this laptop get me 60 FPS in Minesweeper? Sorry, Minesweeper, you're going to have to hook up an external GPU. You're going to need dual GTX 1080 Ti's for Minesweeper. So yeah, you're out of luck. It's going to cost you at least 20 grand for that type of system. About to live for the first time next 3 weeks, getting a 144 hertz display. That's amazing. Congratulations. You're going to love it. Trust me. And by the way, everyone say happy birthday to our Shattered Legends. It is his birthday today. Yes, this laptop does have G-Sync. So G-Sync is interesting. It's probably one of the best syncing technologies you can get for your laptop. If you have a choice between G-Sync and FreeSync, obviously depends if you have an NVIDIA card or an AMD card, always offer G-Sync because G-Sync is one of the only syncing technologies that can do variable refresh rates. So let's say the game you're playing, for example, on your laptop can only get up to, let's say, 70 frames per second because your hardware is not powerful enough. G-Sync will be able to stabilize that, not stabilize, but change on the fly in order to keep the screen movement moving perfectly. Whereas on VSync, which is software-based, or AMD's FreeSync, it's a little bit harder. Like you'll still get some screen tearing unless you're running exactly at whatever refresh rate your monitor is at. So if your monitor is 100 hertz, then usually you want the game to run at 100 FPS per second. But G-Sync's one of the only technologies that can allow that frame rate to drop a bit and still get beautiful looking gameplay. How about the key switches feeling? So very similar. So this is questions coming from, I have no idea how to pronounce your name because it's in Chinese symbols. I think it's Chinese symbols or Mandarin. It feels pretty close to the Acer Predator Helios 300. A little bit more plasticky, not as rubberized, but it's pretty close. Same with travel distance. So this is just running. We're going to give this another few minutes. This should be done any second. Can you review the AMD version of this laptop? If I get enough requests in the comments below, I will review the AMD version of this laptop. Is NVIDIA better than AMD? Well, for GPUs, yes, definitely. No ifs, ands, or buts. NVIDIA GPUs are still above and well beyond AMD GPUs. As for in terms of CPU performance, sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, like AMD has come to the point now where you get really great bang for your buck and you still get really great performance. Like I'm using, like I said, the Ryzen 1700X from last year, 8 cores, and it's still beautiful, you know? There are some things about Intel that I like better. I usually find it plays nicer with certain software, for example, Adobe Premiere. But I mean, if you're just buying like something for streaming and gaming at the same time, AMD's great, especially for the price. Is Minesweeper a game? Yes, Minesweeper is the most graphically intensive game, more graphically intensive than Crysis. Do the AMD version. Okay, I got 2 people for AMD. Do the 7700 HQ and GTX 1060 laptop will be good for programming for college course. Yes, I mean, if you really want to carry a gaming laptop that has a 7700 HQ and 1060, that's a little bit overkill for programming. Unless you're like, I don't know, compiling some really intensive code, I don't think you need a laptop that big. You can probably get something a bit thinner, maybe like the new HP Spectre X360 with the AMD Intel GPU, or maybe the Dell XPS 2-in-1. Those would be great options. Light, portable, still powerful enough to game a little bit, and of course, compile code. Yes, so Devansh asked, can you please do the Asus ROG Strix Hero Edition live stream compared to the Dell G7? I do have plans to review the Hero laptop. Asus is moving warehouses right now, so getting units to here in Canada is a bit slow, but I will be doing it. It's just going to be very late. So I'm using a Lenovo Y520 GTX 1060. I don't know what is the max Q. Can you please explain? Okay, Tom, thank you, my man. Oh, everyone, Tom is also an admin on Discord server. He's in Italy right now, enjoying the time of his life. Thank you, Tom. You are the best. I appreciate it. Go outside, eat some pasta, have a pizza. You need to be outside in Italy right now. It's beautiful. But basically his question was, oh shit, I forgot the guy's question. Let me scroll back up. Oh yeah, so what's a max Q processor? Okay, so basically if you have, let's say, I'll use the 1060 for example. If you have a 1060, a regular 1060, or a 1060 with max Q, the max Q is gonna have a lower TDP. So it's gonna produce less power, for example. And with that, you get, well, on top of that, you also get a little bit less CUDA cores. The speed of the actual GPU is a little bit slower. So you're trading a little bit of power for a GPU that runs thermally better. So less heat, it's a better balance. You don't get as high frame rate as a full-size GTX 1060. Laptop manufacturers don't have to spend as much time worrying about engineering in order to keep the laptop cool, but you are giving up some performance. So for example, if you have a 1060 Max Q GPU, it sits somewhere between a 1050 Ti and a full-size GTX 1060. It's just a better balance. Okay, so we got finished. Here it is. Let's see what this looks like. I'm going to switch it on the camera for you guys. All right, here we go. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see if the monitor puts this into focus. Okay, I don't know if it will, but we'll see. All right, so let's save that. All right, here we go. Next. I don't know if it's going to put it in focus, but I'll try. Let's see. So this is the calibrated view. Okay, calibrated view after the calibration. And this is the uncalibrated view. It's kind of hard to tell because I think I have the ISO a little bit too high on this camera, but it's a little bit warmer now. So here we go. What is the color accuracy looking like? So we have 96% sRGB, which is pretty much the exact same as the Acer Predator Helios 300. I was getting about 97 to 98% on the Predator Helios 300. So very similar panels, except this one is obviously has G-Sync and the 300 doesn't. Now for Adobe RGB, we are looking at, if I can click on it, 75%. So again, very similar to the Predator Helios 300. Do you guys want to see how many nits of brightness this display has? My feeling is it's going to be exactly the same as the Helios 300, or would you rather I move on to something else? So Siddharth is asking, compare the size between this and the 300. Well, this is a 17-inch display, and the 300 is a 15-inch display. So, I mean, you know, one's 17 inches and one is 15 inches. I mean, let's see if you guys can see. 17 inches. This is what a 15-inch laptop looks like. So you get significantly more screen real estate, or at least you visually you do, on the 17-inch model compared to a 15-inch model. I mean, that's pretty much common sense, right? For me personally, I need to game on at least 17 inches because I find I'm like squinting too much when I'm gaming on a 15-inch monitor, but that's just me getting old. But yeah, I mean, it makes a, if you're buying, okay, let's put it this way. If you can afford it and your budget allows it, and you're buying this for a desktop replacement, get a 17-inch laptop all the time. Like, get a 17-inch laptop over a 15-inch laptop all the time. Because 17-inch laptops are bigger. And like I was saying before, the bigger the laptop, the bigger the chassis, therefore the better the cooling. And if this is staying at your house every day and you got everything hooked up to it and you're pretty much leaving it there 90% of the time, you're better off with a 17-inch laptop all the time. Okay, so do we want to do High Tech Point? Thank you, my man. I really appreciate it, the support. You're awesome. Okay, so one person says move on. So are we doing brightness or not? Move on. Okay, so one person wants show brightness. Move on, move on, move on. Okay, everyone's saying move on. Okay, so I'm going to move on because the majority of people are saying move on. But if you want to see how many nits of brightness, I will promise this will be in my review, which will be out the end of next week. Jose, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, buddy. I really, really do appreciate it. Difference in laptop, full-size GTX 1060 and a regular PC for the win, GTX 1060. Huge difference or same thing, and your personal thoughts on the 300. So he's asking if there's a huge speed difference between buying a desktop PC with a full-size GTX 1060 or buying a laptop with a full-size GTX 60. The short answer is yes, there is a difference. A couple of years ago, when we were having the mobile 96M or the M series GPUs, there was a huge difference. That difference has narrowed down a little bit. You'll see about 10 to 15% speed increase on a desktop PC with a full-size GTX 1060 compared to a laptop with a GTX 1060. So that's a great question. So for those of you out there thinking you're getting the same thing in terms of speed and performance, you're always going to get better performance on buying the desktop equivalent. And if you can and you can afford it, it'll save you some money. Now, some of you who don't want to build your own PC, I do suggest taking a look at pre-built options. And just because, I don't know what the prices are of GPUs right now, but about 6 to 8 months ago, it was cheaper to buy a pre-built PC than it was to make your own. I'd have to check if it's still the same. I think prices have come down, but again, you're always better off with a desktop PC. Okay, does the laptop need a freezer with the purchase? No, I'm out of the freezer business, people. I'm out of the freezer business. I thought I had something going, but I'm gone. If you haven't seen that video, you should check it out. It's really funny. Okay, so we're gonna move on from the display. The next thing we're gonna check out is hard drive speeds. That was a question from one of our people in the comments. So I'm gonna download Crystal Mark, which is a great tool that'll measure your hard drive speeds, and we'll do the regular SSD. I'm not gonna do the 5400 RPM hard drive because it's gonna be around 130 megabytes a second. It's just gonna be a waste of time. So Crystal, let's download this bad boy. Crystal. What are the thermals and how efficient is the cooling? Also, I'm able to control the fan speed. Yes, Acer allows you to control the fan speed by using their Acer Predator Sense software. You can basically control, we'll go through that in 1 second. I'll show you exactly what you can do with their software. I'm just gonna load up this Crystal Disk Mark. I can't touch the computer while it's doing its thing because I don't wanna affect the speeds that it comes up with. But yes, we will definitely look at the Acer Predator Sense, and we will definitely do a minor or small, short heat test. I mean, you're not gonna be able to do it unless you leave this laptop going for a prolonged period of time, but it'll give you guys a good example. Thanks for answering my questions, no problem, anytime. The VX15 worth buying? Not anymore. I wouldn't buy the VX15. I wasn't too impressed with it last year. You're better off buying the Helios 300 from last year, or if you can afford it, the one from this year. Yeah, so far read speeds are looking pretty good. This is an NVMe. So for those curious, this is not a regular SSD. This is an NVMe SSD. So NVMe's are always faster than regular SSDs, and I mean significantly faster. So it's doing the read speeds right now, but so far they look good. Man, it's too big difference between the Helios 300 and 500. Yes, there's a huge difference. I mean, the processor is the same, but you also have the option of getting the i9 processor on the 500, which you can't on the 300. But the biggest difference between the bigger version is better cooling, faster GPU. The difference between a 1060 and a 1070 is quite significant. It's actually probably the best performance for the buck, I'd say, is a 1070. And you get G-Sync with that 144 hertz display, which you don't on the Helios 300. So this is just obviously a much better machine for gaming. But again, you're gonna have to pay $700 more for it. This one retails for $2,000, while the Helios 300 retails for about $1,100. I'm from Brazil. Olaf, como estás? Is worth buying a 300 or 500. It depends. What's your budget? What are you going to be using it for? Are you going to be taking it to school? If you are going to be taking it to school, I don't recommend either or. They're pretty heavy. You're better off with certain other laptops. But if you're going to be keeping this for 3 years down the road, you're going to be doing VR, you want to play the latest games comfortably on high settings or ultra settings all the time, then yeah, you're going to want to get the Helios 500 instead. I mean, it just makes a lot more sense. Could you talking about the company Acer from China? Acer is not from China. Acer is from Taiwan, I believe. So the Dabster is asking a great question. Is there a big difference between the i9 and the i7 version? Yes, the i9 processor, I think the base clock speed starts, if I'm correct, I could be wrong, I have to check, but the base clock speed starts at 2.9 gigahertz, whereas the base clock speed for the i7 starts at 2.2. Also, the other difference with the i9 version, you're getting an HK processor, which means it's overclockable. You can overclock the CPU if you really want to, especially for those enthusiasts that like to get really dirty, take off the CPU, repaste it, maybe somehow put better cooling, maybe use a vacuum for suction. You can repaste the CPU, overclock the CPU, and get slightly better performance. The i7 is not overclockable. It's just an H-series processor. You're stuck at whatever it can boost at, and that's it. Okay, so read and write speeds. We have 1455 read, so that's 1,455 megabytes a second read speeds, 923 write speeds. So typical, pretty good. It's not like the best NVMe drive. Like I've seen NVMe drives go up to 3,000 read and 1,500 write, but they're good. They're really good for a gaming laptop. OS is going to boot fast. Programs are going to load fast, so it's a good drive. Okay, so drives is done. Now I'm going to quickly go over what are the upgradability options it's V21 TV asks. So basically the upgradability options is you get the i7 version, then the next above that is the i9. That's it. You're just getting a bump up in CPU. The GPU stays the same across the board, and each i9 version you get slightly more storage space. That's it. That's basically the biggest difference is. RAM is still the same, 16 gigabytes. Are Sager laptops any good? Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Are Saber laptops any good? Why aren't they heard of much? Okay, that's a good question. I haven't personally used any Sager laptops myself, but companies like Sager, companies like Origin PC, companies, even MSI, for example, they all use a design or they all use a production company. Actually, even ASUS has done this before. They all use a production company called Clevo, and they're based in China or Taiwan. And basically what they do is they mass produce chassis for all of these people. They buy them in bulk. They do their own testing, like the companies that buy them do their own testing, and then they pretty much put their own internals in them. That's just how it works. It saves them time from learning how to manufacture a product, and it's all taken care of by Clevo, which is a company in China. Now, based on the laptops that I've tested that are basically Clevo made, it depends on the company. Some companies pay more attention to detail. They take more time with the engineering process, and you'll get better quality control. But I've used MSI laptops where basically like in 2 weeks, they die. I haven't had the same issue with Origin PCs. They've been pretty good, but it just really comes down to the manufacturer themselves. If you can, like when you buy an Acer laptop, I think they might have some Clevo. Actually, I don't think they use Clevo anymore. But if you buy like a Razer Blade or a Razer laptop or even HP, they build their own engineering now. Like they don't use Clevo to produce their laptops. Do the Sager MV is a laptop review? You know what? I'll reach, if you guys really want me to, I'll reach out to Sager. I'll get a bunch of their laptops and I'll review them for you guys to see how, maybe if you guys want that, I can do that for you. It's not a problem. i9 or i7 version for video editing? i9 for sure. If you can do i9, go i9. Okay, so base clock speeds on the i7 on this model should be 2.2, but let's just check quickly. Yeah, 2.2, 2.1. And I believe this will burst up to 4, if I'm correct, or 3.9, if I remember correctly. I'm sure you guys can correct me in the comments below. All right, what was the next thing we're going to do? I forgot already. Do you guys want me to open this up? Do you guys want me to open this laptop up? Because I can do that. We can take a look inside. Would you guys? Okay, you know what? Let me know in the comments. Do you want me to open this up? Okay, and we can take a look at the inside. Or do you want me to do a heat test? I am not dancing, Torch. Stop making me dance. I just told you, Tejas. I said i9 is better for video editing. You're getting faster clock speeds. Therefore, when you are rendering that footage or rendering your timeline, it'll do it faster. It's that simple. Okay, so open it up first, or do you want me to do a heat test? Both, please. Okay, well, I don't think we have time for both. Speaker test. That's easy. Let's do that. Don't open it up. Yes, yes, yes. Thermals, open it up. Yes, 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 yes. Open it up. Okay. Speaker test first, then we're going to open it up. I think that's the best way to do it. All right. Speaker test first. So let's go to SoundCloud here. So yeah, like I was telling everybody earlier in this conversation, if you're just joining right now, I will be doing a live stream on Twitch this Sunday with this laptop, gaming from it. So this way I can show you exactly the frame rates from those games that it gets. I can answer your questions if you're in the Twitch stream, and you can get a better idea if this laptop is the right laptop for you. So let's jump in to a song. Okay, so speaker test. Before I tell you the speaker test, let's see where there's speakers here. We have two on the bottom, and I believe the Helios 500 should have a subwoofer as well. Usually they come with a third speaker. Yeah, there is. There's a subwoofer over here. Okay, I'll show you right here. Yeah, we got a subwoofer and 2 speakers. So this is obviously going to sound better than the Helios 300 because there's, again, a bigger chassis, more space to put it. Okay, here we go. It's playing right now. I'm going to pump up the volume if I can find the volume controls. I'm blind today. Why can't... Oh, here we are. Okay, so volume controls are on the keys. It's not bad. It's not bad. Sound is not bad. It's nothing special. Like a... Okay, so based on the short test that you guys heard here, sound, it's not bad. I mean, it doesn't get super loud, but it gets loud enough. Mids are good. It's lacking in the highs, but I'm sure you can change that in the Acer Predator Sense music software or whatever. But it's okay. It's fine. I mean, you're going to be using a gaming headset anyways, but it's not bad. So before I jump into thermals, one more thing. I forgot to go into the Acer Predator Sense software so I can show you guys. Okay, so let me switch screens here. So if you guys can see here, so right now we have different profiles. So this is exactly the CPU right now on idle is hovering around 44 degrees Celsius. It's doing nothing, which is pretty good, typical stuff. GPU 40 degrees. The system itself, so everything inside, is around 53 degrees Celsius. Lighting, if you guys are curious. So you can change each zone. There's 4 zones of lighting. You can change each zone to whatever color you want. So zone 1 has, I can, whatever, put that blue. Let's do a little red over here. Now, one thing that's different from the HP Omen, which I noticed in my last review, again, this is really not a big deal, but I thought I mentioned anyways. You can change the lighting for just the WASD keys on the Omen lineup, but you can't on the Predator Helios 500. Overclocking, the big one, the one that you want. So you can't overclock the CPU. Not on this model. This is the H series i7 processor. The only thing you can overclock is the GPU. That's it. The GPU is overclockable. So if I want to go turbo and go balls to the wall, I can crank it up by putting it on turbo, and I'll get the best performance in terms of gameplay. You have hotkeys. Okay, hotkeys, which will basically allow you to control the hotkeys on the top of here. Fan control. So on the 300, actually, you know what? Let's do a fan test. I'm going to put on max, and you guys are going to hear exactly how loud these fans can get. All right? Drop test. No, we're not doing a drop test. Okay, here we go. It's actually a lot better than the Helios 300. The Helios 300, I think, gets louder than this. I just think it's because the air can move a little bit better in the chassis of the 500, so it doesn't sound as loud. But it's not bad. Like, this is max volume for the fans. I'm going to be quiet for 5 seconds. Okay, there. So that'll give you an idea of fan speed. This is maxed. Okay. So Saeed asks, is this better or is the Y730? I just danced for you guys on the last one, okay? What am I, your puppet? Okay, I'll dance at the end of this podcast just for you guys. All right, so that was fan control. So quickly over here, we're gonna do monitoring. That basically just gives you kind of like exactly what's going on with your system. Game sync if you want to stream. And of course you have your app center. You can get to the GeForce experience. Care center to update your BIOS, whatever. Okay, enough of that. I forget, are we doing a heat test or are we opening it up? I think we're doing a heat test. Okay, let's do a heat test. Kanon asks, what does a subwoofer do? Well, it basically provides all the lows of the sound. So basically your bass. So you'll find you'll have a lot more bass on this laptop than, let's say, the Acer Helios 300, for example. Okay, let's load up Ada64, just do a quick heat test. Again, this is not a very good example because I like to let it run longer. And yeah, but we'll just do a quick one. We can hear things happening. I'm going to download one more thing. Okay, yes. In the meantime, while I install this, I'll try to answer some questions. Moniz, how is the display? Display is great. For those for tuning in, the display is 1080p Full HD, 144 Hertz, 98% or 96% sRGB, 75% Adobe RGB. So if you want to game and do content creation, the screen is color accurate enough to do that. Unlike other gaming laptops, which are coming with really poor displays on the market, at least at a lower price point. Acer's done I have to give Acer some credit. Out of all the laptop manufacturers, and I'm not talking about the 500, I'm talking about the 300 specifically. Out of all the laptops around that price point, they're the only company right now that I've tested. I haven't tested Asus yet or MSI for that price point that you can get a color or a pretty color accurate display that has over 90% sRGB. That's impressive. That was my biggest complaint about laptops last year at that price point, around the $1,200 price point. You just couldn't get a good display. You'd have to like go up to 4K, or you have to pay more for a more expensive model. But I have to give credit to Acer. They did it this year. Okay, loading up Ada64. I'm going to download one more thing so we can check temps while it happens. Actually, I don't even think we need to download this. We can just do it on this and it'll tell us. Okay, here we go. Tool stability test. So I'm going to get this going, and I'm going to start answering your questions while this is happening. Okay, heat test is running. Actually, I should stress out the GPUs too. All right. Yes. Okay, what's up, guys? Let's see. How much does this cost? $2,000. Will you unbox PCs in the future? If you really want me to, I will unbox PCs. I used to review pre-built PCs. I just find that there's not a lot of people looking at them. Maybe that's changed now because esports has taken off so much. But yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll start unboxing some PCs again. All right, so here we go. Right now, there is no thermal throttling. CPU utilization is 100%. Heat temperatures are averaging around 63 to 66% Celsius. So that's good. But it's only been a total of 40 seconds. So let's let this run for a solid 5 to 10 minutes and see what happens. All right. How's the keyboard? Keyboard's great. Does it have a full 1070 or max Q? This is a full 1070, a full GTX 1070. I'd love to see more reviews of pre-built PCs. I know some people do. Is it IPS or TN? This is an IPS display. Okay, so Saeed is persistent on me opening up this laptop. You know what? I will. I'll open it up for you guys. And since the stream started late, we'll go a little bit later today. So let this run for 5 minutes, and then we will open up the laptop. But so far, it's running well, 55 degrees Celsius currently. This is with all 6 cores going. The fans are not even cranking up to max. So far, the heat test is doing really, really well. Obviously, this is not representative of real life. Personally, I'd love to game on it for like a solid hour and get some real life results, plus run proper benchmarks. But this is just kind of like a general, easy to do test to see if it's like really bad or not. But so far, it's handling it like a champ. Hey, I'm from Brazil. I've been using the Mac PC for 18 years. I've changed my laptop, current Apple catalog. Okay, so Jamie Mesa asks, he's basically been a Mac fanboy for the past 18 years. He's lived and breathed Macs, and he wants to make the switch to PC, and he's asking me what laptop should he get for video editing. So I'm going to say the Dell XPS 15. And the reason being is because he's telling me he's coming from a MacBook. So I think he wants something that's as portable and thin as a MacBook with the same type of horsepower, but for Adobe Premiere. Now, the XPS 15 does thermal throttle just like the new MacBooks, but they don't thermal throttle as bad as the new MacBooks, even though they've been updated. So yeah, I'd still get the Dell XPS 15. It's still powerful enough that you can game 1080p between medium to high settings. And most importantly, the screen is absolutely gorgeous and you can travel with it, which is like the best thing ever. Totally not related. What do you use to stream? What program? I use OBS to stream. Tayas loves blue. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. What's the price? I already said that. $2,000. Can you test CSGO Fortnite? I will be testing out Fortnite in my full review, so stay tuned for that. If it can run Fortnite, it'll easily run CSGO, but it cannot run Solitaire. Yes, we're going to open it up in a second. I'm just doing the heat test. The Dell G7 looks promising, to be honest, but hard to say if it has as good as the Predator Helios 300. Okay, so I did a review comparing the Y530, the G7, the Helios 300, and obviously the Y530 is not the best example for that review just because it's under $1,000 and you're using a 1050 Ti, but Lenovo is releasing a version with the 1060. I think you can already order it on the internet. So it's not like the best comparison for those two. But the big comparison is between the G7, the 300, and the Omen 15. This is what I always say. If you are a content creator and a gamer and you want the most power as possible, plus the best bang for your buck, you're going to go for the Predator Helios 300. There is a little bit of overheating. It's not like a big deal. It's not going to like ruin your experience, but it's there. And this holds true for the Omen 15 and the Helios 300. But if you want something if you can handle having slightly less power, a little bit more of a balance in terms of thermals, and you don't mind that little bit of drop, then I would suggest getting the G7 instead. So if you're going to carry this laptop for 3 or 4 years, you might get better quality control on the G7. Okay, again, I apologize if I'm missing all of your questions. Ash is not here, so usually he monitors this for me. What is your opinion on, so Carlos Prado asks, what is your opinion on a MX150 GPU? So I answer this pretty much in like every single video. The MX150 is equivalent to the desktop version of the GT 1030. This is a low-powered, dedicated graphics card that a lot of manufacturers are placing in their lower-end laptops or Ultrabooks. It is a pretty good processor. Now, you're not going to edit 4K video with it. You're not going to be compiling hardcore data with it, but it's powerful enough that you can game lightly on it. You can do very light video editing on it. And the best part about it is you don't need a big chassis to keep it cool. So like, for example, there's a couple of products from Acer like the Aspire 15E, which has an MX150, very affordable and probably a great option for a lot of students. Then there's higher end laptops like the MateBook X Pro that has an MX150 that gives you that extra horsepower that regular Ultrabooks like the Dell XPS 13 don't give you. So it's like a nice little addition instead of using the integrated GPU. I'm sorry if I ramble on too much. If I ramble on too much, just tell me to shut up in the comments. Wrap it in a towel. Are you sure it can handle JPEGs? Haha, you're funny. What about backlight bleed? I have to turn off the lights. I don't want to do that right now. Actually, okay, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do backlight bleed right now. Usually, it's better if Ash is here because he can turn off the light and turn it on then. It's just a lot easier. So we'll skip that for this one. What's your opinion for MateBook Pro? I love it. Hands down, one of my favorite Ultra books. I did a review on it if you want to see it on my channel. The problem is NVIDIA is releasing, let's see here, what's going on? Macs suck? I don't think Macs suck. I mean, like, look, all because I don't review Macs on this channel, it's not because I hate them. It's just I don't get review units, and I don't feel like spending money on buying them. But I think I'm going to change it. I think I'm just going to pull the plunge and start buying them and reviewing them for you guys because I do get a lot of requests to review them. But I just don't like their attitude, the way they treat reviewers. So I don't hate their products. I just don't like the company, if that makes any sense. Like, I use an iPhone. It's a great product. I just don't like the company. Still waiting for the G3. I'm getting that soon. I'm in Canada. Things are slower over here. What else do we got? Okay, I think this is long enough for the heat test. So basically, this is the conclusion. It's been running at full throttle, 100% CPU utilization for the past 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Temperature is averaging around 58 degrees Celsius. That's really great. The same test on, let's say, the Helios 300 would run around 78 to 80 degrees Celsius. So as you can see here, the cooling is significantly better. The fans are not even going on max. That's what a big chassis does. It allows for better cooling. You can do better engineering with it. It's a product that's going to last you. So if you can, pony up the extra money, get a bigger chassis, especially if you're using this as a desktop replacement. Are you a Jedi? Yes. Actually, I'm a Sith. Matthew, you're better than Dave 2D. Thank you. Dave 2D is great too. Funny story, he's actually my neighbor. Take off your clothes. That's the next stream. That's going to be the stream after dark. Okay. Let's open this up. You guys want to open this up? We're opening it up. All right, here we go. Time to open up this laptop. Okay, I'm going to shut this guy down. See, this is risky opening this up on camera because if I screw something up, you guys are never going to let me go. All right, shutting her down. We're going to open her up and take a look inside. Okay, after we open this up, we're going to just wrap up the stream, but let's take a quick look. So this is the plan for the next 20 minutes. We are quickly going to open this up. Then we're going to do a lightning round for your questions. Then we're going to wrap this stream up, and then you'll have to stay tuned for the review. And of course, if you want to see this guy in action in terms of gaming, you can join me on Twitch this Sunday. So in the meantime, while I do this, what do you guys think of these streams? Do you guys like them? Sorry if I'm coughing. I need some water. Are you guys enjoying these streams that I've been doing for the past 4 weeks? Is there anything you want me to do differently? Because I'd be happy to hear your answers. All right, we got a lot of screws here, so this is going to take a good 5 minutes. I'll put this in the middle so you guys can see. Is overclocking your laptop worth it? No, it's not worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Unless you're like planning on like opening up the laptop itself and like doing some sort of cooling, it's just not worth it. Laptops are a sticky situation, especially gaming laptops, because you're sticking a lot of power in such a small design that like opening up and try to cool them yourself is just not worth it. Yeah, so someone said, love the streams, just don't like the 30-minute countdown. So this is the first time that has happened. Again, I apologize. The power went out, something I can't control, literally 2 minutes before the stream started. So usually we start on time all the time. But hey, you know what? Things happen, man. That's life. That is life. Please get some water. Please, anyone in your home with you. No, I will not leave the stream. I will die before I leave the stream to get water, okay? All right, open this bad boy up. I'm not even looking, I'm just doing. Thanks, John, I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. I'd rather see how this laptop performs playing Minecraft than see him dance. Torch, it can't play Minecraft. Did I get the screw in here or what? That's all the way down there. Any other questions? What is your preferred laptop mid-2018? So I'm using a Surface Book 2 just because I like the fact that I can game on it and I can use it for work. But I might be switching that soon. I don't know yet. We'll see. I might be switching to a Dell XPS 15. I don't know. I'm totally butchering this. Okay, hold on. How many screws do I have here? I got 1, 2, 3 out. I'm going to get the 2 top ones. I think I need a bigger Phillips head. Hey, I have a Samsung X51. Plan to sell this one, get the 300 or 500. I'll use it for college to study and gaming when possible. Does G-Sync have a big difference? Yes. G-Sync has a huge difference. If you can get a laptop with G-Sync, I recommend getting a laptop with G-Sync, especially if you're using it for gaming. If you're not gaming that often, then there's really no point getting a laptop with G-Sync. But if you are gaming, yes, definitely get G-Sync. You will love yourself for it. Can you please suggest a laptop for hardcore After Effects and other 3D rendering software, price below $1,700? Great question, Marshall. So when it comes to 3D rendering and After Effects, I usually like to suggest laptops with Quadro cards, just because they have better, they're better optimized for like ray tracing and stuff like that. But they're expensive. That's the problem. They're really expensive. So my suggestion is you're gonna have to look at like a gaming laptop, or if you can, get a good deal on a Dell XPS 15. Thanks, Oath Oblivio. I love your content. Your vids are very well informed and a great point of comparison between other tech news. Keep it up. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the support. Okay, how many screws do I have left? I have 2 screws left. Yeah, sorry if I'm doing this really slow because I'm trying to answer your questions at the same time. Hello, I'm from Malaysia. Hello, I'm from Canada. What's going on here? These screws don't want to come out. Come on. Hold on a second here. Let's see what's going on here. We got one here. This one's like stuck to the side of my screwdriver. And this one does not want to come out, this one. Am I stripping it? Okay, I gotta switch screw heads here. What else we got? How old am I? How old do you guys think I am? It's a good question. I don't know how old I am. Please get water. No, I will not get water. Have you ever smoked weed? Matt, you need some Great Lake water, mate. I do need some Great Lake water. You live by Niagara Falls. You should send me some water. What's going on here with this screw? It doesn't want to come out. Okay. I think it's out. It just doesn't want to... Okay, here it goes. The moment of truth. Taking this out of its case. You know what? I'm not going to open up all of it. I'll just open up this panel because we can probably get to everything just right here. Okay. Here it goes. Here it goes. What other questions? 31, 100. You're close. Almost 100. 9,000 years old. You win. I'm definitely 9,000 years old. No, I'm 37. 37 years old. 37 years old with the heart of a 2-year-old. Or the mind of a 2-year-old, at least. All right. So I'm not going to open all of it, just because at least you guys can get an idea of what it looks like. I'm going to switch this to... Wow, let's do this here. There we go. Okay. So there's 4 RAM slots, it looks like. There's 2 here. My guess is the other 2 is either on this side, or on the other side of the motherboard. Under here, we have a 2.5-inch hard drive. Okay? 2.5-inch hard drive. And then on this side, we have 2 slots for 2 M2 SSDs. So you can put 2 M2 SSD drives here. You can put 2 M2 NVMe drives there. We have 2 slots. So technically, you can have up to 3 drives in this computer. And you can have a total of, I'm guessing, 64 gigabytes of RAM if we have 2 empty slots here. And then, of course, 2 empty slots on the other side. Now, I'm not going to open up this part just because it's going to take too long. But I will open it up for my full review so that you guys can see the heat pipes running across. But based on looking, holy smokes, we have 1, 2, I think there's about 4 or 5 heat pipes in there. But again, I'll have to open it up to take a look at it. Yeah, 64 gigabytes of memory. Also, this battery, this is a 4660 milliamp battery or 74 watt hours. That is really small for a laptop this size. So if you think you're going to get enough juice to get through a whole day of school, not going to happen. But yeah, this is a gaming laptop after all, and you shouldn't expect to get good battery life with any gaming laptop unless it's like a 2-in-1, unless it's like something running a GTX 1050 and using a U-series processor. So 70 watt hour battery, you're probably going to get 3.5 hours of use before needing to charge. That's my guess. So that's basically it. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Any more questions before I put the cover back on? Get water, dance, and do a gaming test, and also dance and get water. 5 heat pipes, baby. Hey, Matt, I own this laptop. Best regards from Motherland of The Witcher. Thank you, buddy. Not enough juice at all. Matthew Moniz, what's the best type of SSD? So it's an M2. So the best type of SSD is an NVMe SSD. So that basically means it's the same. So M2 is the type of slot, right? So it's a smaller form factor. Instead of using like the traditional bigger 2.5-inch drives, you can get a regular M2 SSD, or you can get an M2 NVMe PCIe SSD. PCIe SSDs are significantly faster. And to be honest, like for most people buying this laptop, you probably don't need another NVMe drive. Like the one that's being used for your boot drive is more than plenty of fast. My suggestion is you have 2 extra slots here, or sorry, 1 extra slot here is to buy another SSD. Let's say if you want to use it for a scratch disk, if you're a video editor or you're someone compiling code and you need that space. And that's it. And like down the road, if you don't like the 1 terabyte 2.5-inch hard drive that's in here, you can swap it out for another 2.5 drive, but make it an SSD or make it a bigger regular hard drive. Like you have options. Is the GPU upgradable? No. Where's the floppy drive? Floppy drive is not here. Sorry. Funny enough, I am reviewing a laptop with a drive very soon. I feel bad for commenting that. Didn't get a reaction at all. It's okay, buddy. Comment whatever you want to say. Which gaming laptop do you prefer? That's a good question. I mean, if it's for home use, I'd prefer a big one like this. If it's for on the road, then I want something like the Surface Book 2. I know it's not a gaming laptop, but it's the best of both worlds. I can do work on it and game, or something like the Dell XPS 15. So it depends on the situation. For home, desktop replacement, I want a big guy like this. Please remove the heatsink for the SSDs to check what brand it is. Okay, let's do that, just for you. We're gonna remove the heat sinks for the SSDs. Clearly I'm using the wrong head here. Alienware is good laptop, Akel asks. Yes, I actually have an Alienware coming in next week. So we'll be reviewing that, so stay tuned for the Alienware review. R15, R4. If that's something you guys wanted to see, that will be coming soon. Okay, so I removed the heatsink for the M2 slot. And this drive is a 256 gigabyte Skyhynix. These are pretty standard drives. I've seen them in a lot of laptops. They're not as fast as the Samsung drives, but they're fine. They're not the fastest, but they're fine. Like still 1400 read. What was it? 900 write is still pretty good for a gaming laptop. And to be honest, you're using it for your boot drive, so they're still fast enough. All right, putting this back on. I'm going to start screwing this back in. And then I'm going to answer your questions, and then I'm going to end this stream. Because it is getting late, and I need water, and I'm dying. So for those of you tuning in, if you want to ask me any more questions about this laptop that I didn't answer right now, follow me or join my Discord server. I'll be answering them there. This Sunday, July 29th, I'm going to be doing a live stream on Twitch, gaming on this laptop. So you can see the kind of performance you get from the Helios 500. I'm going to do this laptop this week, do another laptop next week. And that's kind of what I'm going to do. Every Sunday, a different laptop. And if I don't have a different laptop, I'll just game and talk to you guys. All right. So that's pretty much it for the inside. Let's make sure this is all done properly. Best laptop for school and gaming, around $1,300. It's going to be one of these guys. You're going to want probably, actually, Lenovo Y530, the 1060 version. That will probably be your best bet for school. Not because it's better than the 300 or the G7, just because it's going to be a lot lighter. The 300, the Predator Helios 300 weighs around 6 pounds. The G7 weighs around 5.8. The Omen 15 weighs about 5.6 pounds. And the Helios, not the Helios, the Y530 is around 5 pounds. So I think if you're carrying something day in, day out, around campus all day, you're going to want light as possible. The Y530 is the way to go. But I'm not sure if the 1060 version is lighter. I know the 1050 Ti version is 5 pounds, but I'm not sure how much the 1060 weighs. Probably the same because it's a smaller chassis. Matthew wonders, where do you get all these laptops? From the vendors. That's where I get them from. He usually buys them. Yeah, sometimes I buy them. That's true too. This laptop or the Zephyrus M? Well, the Zephyrus M is a different beast. The Zephyrus M is thinner than this. I like the Zephyrus M. It's a lot more expensive, but you are getting a more premium laptop in terms of materials. Like I would totally rock the Zephyrus M for like on the road just because it's so much thinner. But it's using a 1080, GTX 1080 if I remember correctly. Yeah, a GTX 1080, which is more powerful than this, but you are going to be paying a premium for it. Dell G7 or Acer 300 or HP Omen 15. So I've already answered this question, Abdullah. I did a great review on the HP Omen 15 where I answered that question at the end of the video. In short, Predator Helios 300 is the best for gaming and content creation. If you want strictly just gaming with good thermals, a little bit more, I would say a little bit better quality control over the long term, you will take a hit on the display and you will take a slight hit on the GPU, get the G7. The HP Omen sits somewhere in the middle. Like it has a slightly better display than the G7, but, oh, that's screwed in. A slightly better display than the G7, but not as good as the Helios 300. You don't get 144 hertz. I just got the HP Omen 15. Do you think it was a good choice? Yeah, I mean, if you're just gaming with it, it's a great choice. It gets a little hot. The Omen 15 definitely gets a little hot, but no hotter than the Helios 300. So it's fine. It has an SD card slot, which, you know, the Wi-Fi 3 doesn't have. It has Thunderbolt 3, which is great. If you ever want to hook up an external GPU down the road, maybe a 1070 for extra performance, I think that's fine. Any opinions on cooling pads for something like the Helios 300? Honestly, cooling pads really don't make a big difference on the thermals of your laptop. You might see like a 1 to 2 degree difference. I know some people have had better luck of taking off the CPU, repasting it, and then putting it back on. But yeah, regular like cooling pads with like just fans on the bottom, they don't really do that much. We need Ash to get Matt water. Ash is not here today. So the reason why Ash is not here today is because he got married yesterday. He is now married. He now has a ball and chain around him. He's done. He's over. So he couldn't make it today because of that. I was at his wedding yesterday. It was actually a very nice wedding. It was a good time. It was great to hang out with him. Hung around with some cool people. But yeah, he's married now. That's it. So he's not going to be here this Friday, and he's not going to be here next Friday. But what I'm thinking of doing, what I'm going to try to do, is get one of my admins from Discord to do all the questions for me next week. Like I'm going to get them to take care of all the questions. This way I can kind of plow through the laptop experience while I take your questions. All right. That's pretty much it. Everything is done. I am now going to, so 5 more minutes, quick questions, and we're going to wrap this up. Let's hear it. Questions, go. Matt, finish the stream with the epic dance moves. Okay, I will. So can G-Sync be downloadable? No, G-Sync cannot be downloadable. Marshall Entertainment asks, can a 6th gen i7 processor handle 8 gigabytes of a GTX 1070 and 64 grams? Yes, it can. Matthew knows, where are your beautiful children? They are at home. Diego asks, when did the HP Omen review? Did you do the BIOS update? I did the HP Omen review yesterday. Yes, I did the BIOS update. That was the first thing I did when I set up that laptop. GTX 1070 and 77 are HQ, or GTX 1060 6G and i7 8750H gaming and streaming. Definitely the i7 8750H for gaming. Though you need as many cores as possible to stream and game at the same time. It is a must. What does G-Sync do? I already answered that question. If you go back in the stream, you'll find it. Are the high CPU temps on Omen a concern? Yeah. Maybe over the longevity if you're keeping the laptop for 3 to 4 years, but in terms of gameplay, I didn't notice any frame drops, especially after the BIOS update. but it does get hot. But no, like I said, no hotter than the Acer Predator Helios 300. So if you want a laptop that runs super, super cool or cooler, look at the G7 or the Y530. Dell 7577 or Dell G7. The Dell G7, obviously. Christian asks, can you see some of the benefits over the 300 besides GTX versus G7? Is it worth the extra? So basically this versus the 300 versus what? Versus the 500? Please respond. Does it support USB 3.1 Gen 1? This is Thunderbolt 3. So 4 PCIe lanes, 4 gigabytes per second of bandwidth. How big is your hand? It's this big. That's how big it is. Would you do more of these streams? Yes. Every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing more of these streams. Every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be doing the Twitch version of gaming on whatever laptop I do on that stream, or just gaming in general if I don't do a laptop that week on the stream. Which country do you live in? I live in Canada. Our Acer Predator Helios 300. Do you recommend this laptop for 2K? Yeah, I think it's, I mean, you know, I take that back. No, not yet. Let me review it first. But based on this unboxing, so far so good. Is G-Sync installable on non-G-Sync screens? No, you cannot install it. Yes, 300 versus 500. Bro, love your content. Keep it going. Thank you. More of these to come. Matt I'm on Discord, sir. I'm on the Discord server all the time. Obviously, I'm not answering questions right now because I'm here, but my admins will be happy to help you. When I come on, just ping me and I'll answer your question. The logo LED. There is this. Oh yeah. So the Acer Predator does not light up at all. So yeah, it does not light up. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for being part of this awesome stream. Discord information is in the description down below. Every Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be doing a new live stream here on YouTube. Sundays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be doing my gaming live stream. This week, we're going to be gaming on the Acer Predator Helios 500. And of course, next week will be something different. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Again, sorry for delaying this live stream because of the power outage. Hopefully that won't happen in the near future. Thanks again. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, now I'm going to do the awkward thing where I go over here and turn off the stream.